Hello and greetings. This is Ahmadzai, and I'm here with a new session for you, my friends. In our previous lesson, we worked on a few things related to the photo viewer program, and we'll continue working on that. In the first video, we covered the definition and how to open its interface together. In the second video, we worked on photo viewer with you. In photo viewer, we recorded 3 videos, and we are going through them step by step. In one video, we recorded the empty text editor together. In the second video, we covered all these menus along with the context menu. And in the third video, we recorded this status bar section along with some of its typical features. So, the things we had previously learned, when you open photo, you see that it opens in this way. In this interface, we had worked on which part is called by which name. Now I'll just go over a few practical things for you. Try to do it like this when you're working. When you first start photos, unless you import your photo or video folders into photos, this area is usually empty. So it's usually better to introduce the folders you have on your computer that contain media, whether photos or videos, to photos so you can organize them more easily. So you can create a slideshow. So you can, for example, upload them to OneDrive. So you can create folders for them and view them categorized. So you need to add them first. It doesn't get added automatically. In this section where we have the navigation pane, earlier we mentioned that you can collapse and expand the navigation pane. This way, you can set its size to a specific measurement from here. In the folder section, the first thing we do is go to the folder. In the folders, we go to Add Folder. From there, you can add media folders. Whether they're photos or videos, you can add them. Just like this, click on Add at the top. We say, I want this folder to be called Animal and Pets. We can also add videos. So, as soon as you click, this folder gets added here. Try to remember, when we add several folders here, the photos will actually be the total from all these folders. That means when we go to the photo section, whenever you open it, it will open in this mode. Here, it doesn't just show 1 or 2 photos. It shows all the photos combined from all the folders here. It's like if you added 20 folders, and each of them had, say, 100 photos. Here it would show you a total of 2,000 photos. It displays the total here in this section. But here, it shows them based on each folder. So in the first section that we have here, all photos means that everything from all the folders we've added to photos, whether they're videos or photos, will all be shown here together. In this section, it shows that there are currently 333 photos in this folder, starting from photos captured in June 2021 up to, for example, October 2024. So it displays all of them for us, fully sorted by date. And again, based on the sorting, it shows here that from this date to that date, and then it starts from here. When we scroll down, it gradually goes from 2024 to 2023, 2021, 2022. In my view, as we go further down, the photo capture dates reach 2006 and 2021. As we go even lower, for example, from June 2021 down to 2006. So as I went up, you can see 2008 and 2006 like this. Everything that has been scrolled through appears in this section, showing the exact dates. The latest photos are here. For example, the most recent captured photos are shown up here, which are from 2024. In this section, if we have anything for OneDrive, if we've signed into our Microsoft account in OneDrive, we just need to click here and sign in. You can enter the password for your Microsoft account and sign in. As soon as you sign in, you get 5 GB of capacity in OneDrive. You can upload a photo or a video there whenever you want. And then, whenever you log in from any computer, whether it's a tablet, a mobile phone, or a computer, you can access those same files again. In the Memories section, it's just like the Memories feature we have on our mobile phones. When you go into the Memories folder, it automatically creates a memory from a collection of your gallery photos. You took these photos in this year. This year, it creates a memory for you. Here too, if you have photos in your OneDrive, it usually creates a memory from those photos automatically. Yesterday, I told you about favorites, when we open a photo in Photo Viewer and mark that photo as a favorite. For example, whenever we mentioned that marking it with that little heart, it had 2 meanings. Which one was it? I said, for instance, if you have a slide of content and you've read up to a certain slide, to remember where you left off, you mark it, and then you add it to the favorite section. At that point, it gets added to that red section. Its shortcut was also L. But still, it's a bit less useful than, for example, marking it for yourself. It's a shortcut, or it also adds a copy of this to that folder for you. That folder is the favorites folder. If we turn this off, what happens to it in the favorites folder? It gets removed from there. This is the same for some photos that, for example, you want to keep public, but you only want to add a few of them to favorites. You can add them here again. And with the folder section we worked with earlier, whenever we want, we just click it and it only shows the photos from that folder for you. For example, earlier in the current section, we said it shows all public photos. But if you've added 5 folders, you'll only see the photos inside each folder. Inside the folder section, whenever we want, we can bring up the folders just like before. By clicking on Create Folder, we can create a completely separate folder again. We can make a separate folder. Open File, open in File Explorer, or open the folder separately again. Well, it will open it for you in File Explorer if you want. Or, for example, we can start a slideshow just with the photos from this folder. For instance, there might be 5 or 6 folders, but you only want to start a slideshow with the photos inside this specific folder. Again, when we go to slideshow, it starts, so we just exit it again. And finally, when we select remove, this folder will be removed. Once the folder is removed from here, it won't show up in any section anymore. It won't appear in the all section either, since there was only one folder for now. But if there were 10 or 15 folders, then it would be a different story. In the previous version, we could do something from here to import, but for now, we can't do anything from here. That's in version 11. In version 10, as we saw, we could also import from here. For example, you have the option to import from the internet, from OneDrive, or from this PC. But for now, only the internet option works, so only these options are available for us to add a folder from here. Alright, after the favorite folder, in the personalized section, when we come to you. In this part, you should notice that we also have a few buttons at the top. You can see the title bar section. Here, you can search for images. Before, if you type the name of the image, now you can also search by date. For example, it tells us that in this category, which it detects itself, usually most images were captured on these dates. Show us the images that were captured in 2021. Again, it will show those as unknown, or we can say no. For example, if we select a specific date, like 2024, it will show only those few images that were usually captured in 2024. In short, you can filter by date or by your preference, or you can type the name of the image and it will search for it. We already talked about import, and it's clear that we can bring our data here either through the internet if we have data, or via OneDrive. Of course, you need internet connectivity. I'll explain its settings to you later. You should have understood the control box by now. Here, after this mouse, we have something called slideshow again. We can click on slideshow here. It will display all the photos. Can I, for example, click like this? Look, we only want these photos to be included in the slideshow, and after starting the slideshow, it will only show you those selected photos. If you click away from those selected photos, it will deselect them. It will remove them from the selection. If, for example, we want to select it again. If we want to delete several photos, we tell it to delete, or we press Command plus Delete. Backup to OneDrive happens when we are connected to OneDrive and also signed into the internet. Whenever we say backup to OneDrive or copy, it will directly send it to OneDrive. Or we can just copy these few selected photos, or instead move them. If we want to copy them, we choose Copy to. If we want to move them, meaning cut and paste, we select Move to instead of Copy and Paste. Then we select the address, and to that address, what happens? It gets pasted. We have the share option. We already covered what was write does. We have the share option, if we want to share it with someone. Its shortcut is Ctrl plus S. On the previous page where we worked together, in the full review, the Ctrl plus S shortcut does something. It performs a copy. That means it does a save as. But here, as you can see, it performs the share function. We can sort the photos. If you want it to be by date taken, by date created, by date modified, or by name, select by name. It sorts them alphabetically. Alphabetically, either ascending from A to Z or descending from Z to A. We select that. But let's say we want it by date taken instead. Based on the date taken, it shows the most recent dates at the end. It shows the earliest dates at the top of the file list. In the filter, it asks us, what do you want me to show you in this folder? Is it only photos or only videos? If you wanted to show only videos here, you can select that. Currently, there are no videos. We need to cut this folder, videos, films, photos, so that it is available here. Again, it asks you what to show when filtering by video or photo. If we tell it to show only photos, it will only show photos. If we say only videos, it will only show videos. If we say all, then it will show both. For example, add 3 or 4 folders. It will show a mix of videos and films here. Secondly, for these photos shown here, what size can you choose? Whether it should be square, or for now, let it be rectangular. For example, when we select rectangular, it shows them in various sizes, a bit bigger or smaller. Whereas if it's square, it neatly displays everything in a uniform square size. Let's say rectangular was correct. What was the previous style? So what size should it be? Should it be large? Or maybe medium? Or small? For example, we choose small. Some of the buttons we have here include something called Select All and Deselect All. Select All selects all the photos, and Deselect removes them from selection again. We could also do this with Ctrl-Shift-D, and we can also deselect from here. So, by right-clicking, when we right-click on a photo, we have the property menu, and we can also see who unlocks it. This was the button we studied yesterday. We recorded it in the video. We worked on the 4th one. We also covered printing. Ctrl-C is for copy. And what did copy path copy the address of? We also covered share up here. We also have backup to OneDrive. We had it here. We also had move and copy. Rename changes the name of the file. We also worked on Open File Explorer up here. And I told you about this button yesterday. And what does delete do to the photo for us? In the end, it deletes it. So, these are the things we had last night in the van. In photo organize mode, you can only organize the photos, create folders from them, and move some of the photos into the favorites folder. But still, there aren't that many advanced features here. When it comes to retail, in Photo Legacy we have a few more advanced options. We'll work on that there. And another thing, actually I forgot, I should have told you about the settings in Chrome. Let me tell you about the settings before we stop the video. Let me explain the settings to you so we can wrap up this section. Try it out. The settings are pretty simple. One thing is, it asks us what the default theme should be. Should it be light, dark, or follow Windows? If you choose Windows, it means if your Windows is set to dark, it'll be dark, and if it's set to light, it'll be light. But we can also set it ourselves, like choosing dark or light, or just say no, let it follow the Windows theme. The second option asks if, whenever you enter the gallery, it should show the tile attribute or not. We'll just leave that as it is. For example, when we enable the tile, here it usually appears as a tile mode. When you hover the mouse over it, there was an option. This section is called Tiles or Live Tiles. When you enable it, it shows the picture again. It's good to have it enabled in the options while you're working. We also have another thing here called Enable Location. It's like when you go on Facebook. It gives you a similar kind of notification and provides you with some information. When you turn on your location, Facebook will recognize your location, and then the notifications or suggestions it gives you will be based on your local area. Here's another thing. Whenever you delete a photo, it asks you whether you really want to delete it or not. If it's on, a confirmation message always pops up. If it's off, it doesn't show up. Even if we turn these off here, they can still be turned off from somewhere else too. For example, when I say delete, I tell it to delete. This dialog can be turned off from here. When you select don't show, it gets turned off again. Then you won't be bothered. So if you want it back, you have to come here and turn it on. Message. Alright, that's it. There's also a second option for the mouse. When we change the mouse settings, what should the wheel do? Should it zoom? Or should it perform the next/previous action? We had already seen this in the photos earlier. We select the next/previous option. If we're in the photo section, then the wheel will move to the next photo. It switches to the previous photo. The next photos. It shows the previous photos. It doesn't zoom. But if you go into the settings, let's change this. Let's select this. Let's say, no, do the zoom function. Now I'll try to do it here. Do the action. Alright, after this, we have something else. Some videos have a different format. HEVC is a very new format that actually supports 4K and 8K videos, which have 4K resolution. That's about 4,000 pixels, so sometimes it doesn't support them. We can also click on the player, which will prompt it to download the Windows Player extensions, and then we don't need to do anything else. Zoom preference. Whenever we open a photo, it can be set to zoom to fit, meaning it fills the whole window, or to fit actual size. Actual size means the photo should be shown in its original dimensions. It's better to choose this option. If we want, we can sign into OneDrive from here. And if we want to manage our data in OneDrive, we can do that as well. It's very simple. We can also create another folder from inside. You need to have an internet connection. We've already told you about Microsoft Clipchamp, that you can download the Microsoft Video Editor for Windows 11 whenever you want. You just click. Clipchamp gets downloaded, but after that, you still need the internet to use it. There's something called Photos Legacy, which I've mentioned before. I've written about getting Photos Legacy. We click, and again, this Photos Legacy gets installed. Since I've already installed it, now with just one click, it opens Photos Legacy for us. After this Photos Legacy section, we have something called Privacy. Alright, we click on the Privacy and Security section. We take you inside Windows Antivirus. I'm telling you this so you know what its job is here. How does it work with Photos itself? And there's more information about it. For example, when it was updated, in 2024, when it was created, we click and get details about this version, about this build, about this code. This is all the information about this program that we wanted to share with you. Up to this point, nothing else special has come up. And at the end, dear friends, we ask you that if the videos have been useful for you, please like the videos to support us and help the channel grow. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next sessions. Goodbye.